Hello, and this is part 18 of our Darkest Dungeon walkthrough. We're getting pretty deep in here, and our gold reserves are dwindling ever so steady, so I'm taking our vampire killer team to kill the Baron, and we're going to turn his insides outside. Because I do not want to wait for this infestation to grow and start infecting characters at random. It's going to fuck up everything. So we've got a team of professional vampire killers armed with the latest of vampire killing equipment, and yeah, they're gonna end this man's entire career. Now I could take this 5% crit, 5% virtue chance with this bleed charm like I did before, but because I cured the anemic, I'm thinking about taking Dismas' head to increase the amount of damage that we can deal and how quickly we can deal it. Considering that we have a jester as well as a flagellant that can alleviate stress if need be, pushing his damage through the roof can prove beneficial to us, because that's an additional 2 to 4 damage that he will deal with his open vein attacks. Excuse me for the yawning, everyone. I'm thinking that I may give the flagellant this bleed charm, since he doesn't really use dodge very much anyways, and it gets reduced when he becomes afflicted. Fun fact for you, the flagellant is the only hero in the game that cannot roll for virtue. He will always become afflicted no matter what, and it will always be rapturous. So there's something fun for you. What have we done? We haven't done any activities such as these, so we should probably get some of these cleared. So let's get Off Guard cleared from this character. Before we do that, Quirk Library, reduce the cost, because we use the Sanitarium a lot. And let's take away Light Sensitive, because losing damage is also very bad. And the reason why we're going into this Crimson Court so early isn't because of just how pissy annoying it is, but your first invitation to the courtyard is free. But every invitation after that will result, you'll have to wait until the infestation on the left side gets to high, and then you'll get plenty of invitations. So I see that this signed conscription is available from the courtyard, and this trinket here will be a very powerful thing for our Crusader, and it'll allow us to take on the level 3 Necromancer with virtually no risk of anyone going crazy or dying or getting overkilled like crazy. The healing skills and the stress skills, it's a very, very significant boost to our Crusader. That considering on top of that he can use the healing and stress skills from this Ancestor's Scroll, and will have a very, very powerfully committed stress healer and HP healer. So, let's go get this trinket. We shall embark. Now, since we're on a mission, alright, We are on a mission. We are taking all of the food, all of the shovels, all of the bandages, all of the holy water. We're not going to take any keys. We're going to take 6 of the herbs, 6 of the anti-venom. We're going to take a metric fuckload of torches. And 6 laudanum. Laudanum. We are going to be... Oh, wait, no, hold on. I was sitting here thinking, wow, I managed to get way more supplies than I remember getting. But no, we need blood. We need blood. We need plenty of blood. Now, there's going to be a lot of loot on this quest. And you guys are probably going to be pissed at me for the amount of loot that I ignore. But getting this done in the smallest amount of time possible is very beneficial to us, because that means there's more weeks that I don't have to wait for my heroes to be infected with the Crimson Curse while we just get shitted on by these enemies until they invite us to finally come back to get rid of this after they've screwed us all as much as they possibly could. Now, we can see that our Vestal is now starting to crave the blood. She needs it. So you can manually feed a character by bringing them on a quest and giving them blood. But you could also turn it the other way around and just leave them in town and they'll just drink some blood if they need it. There's a chance that they'll just resist it and not drink any blood. So there's that too. We're taking medicinal herbs, bandages. Bandages are super important for this fight. Or, not this fight, but this entire area we're going to be going through. It's going to be an absolutely massive quest. And these quests, you're not expected to do it all in one go. Whenever you retreat and leave the mission, you can come back to it without consequence. Like, after a little while. Or after getting another invitation. So, you could retreat from it. Like, say you have 4 or 5 invitations, since the infestation has gotten all the way to high. You can use another invitation to go back in and drop off all of your loot when you leave or whatever. And you can't, it doesn't let you leave behind key items either. They will appear here in the supplies before you leave to go into the mission, the courtyard mission. Alright, so without further ado, let's go. I spent a bit more time than usual because I was talking about the courtyard quest, but I'll try to keep the macro down to like 8 minutes or so, or explaining the macro and everything, and talking to you guys about my thoughts in town.
They would arrive in teeming hordes, adorned in powdered wigs and pretension, seeking to slake their thirst on wine and indecency. As intoxication invariably took hold, innocuous frivolities would escalate to ever more disturbing diversions. Orchestrating the hideous affair was a hunchbacked fiend who seemed to delight in proportion to the suffering he caused. I could have stopped him, I suppose, but I was a slave to my own appetites, and restraint would have rendered me a hypocrite.
Looks like this old white man ravaged as much as he pillaged and plundered. We're talking about buttholes here.
What games does this diminutive fool play at now?
Now, we have to fight the Baron. But we have to reach his wonderfully inviting estate first. We're just gonna skip these curios. We're on a mission right now. Okay, since he guarded rank 2, I can actually hit him with a more powerful attack via doing attacking this enemy directly.
Disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
So he managed to actually kill him. Nice. Characters are getting sick, but this is inevitable. Literally every enemy can infect you with the Crimson Curse. It's something that you must just you just have to accept it. Hold out for as long as you can so your blood supplies don't run out too fast, but I hope we brought enough blood. Usually enough every time I play through the game.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
And yes, I do play on Bloodmoon. I have lots of playthroughs.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
I'm tempted. Or wait. Ah, you didn't get to see the text. Well, you're more than definitely going to see it again soon. Now don't drink the blood with somebody who doesn't have the Crimson Curse. Don't do that. Why, you may ask? Oh shit. Ah! Dodged. Okay, fine. I'll actually answer your question for you. You'll cause extremely significant stress damage to the character that drank the blood, who is not infected with the Crimson Curse. And they'll also take some debuffs as well. Like extreme stress damage, HP damage, and debuffs.
Continually onslaught.
Somebody who is under bloodlust, who drinks the blood again, will receive massive amounts of stress, but also get buffed like crazy for damage. I don't like Chevaliers. Their subterranean skewer and their double target stun, stunning two heroes at the same time. Ah! Resisted it. Thank you, Fortifying Garlic. You have extended my blood supplies.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Yes, they behave as though they are afflicted, but if you want to see, the effects that they get from bloodlust are significant, to say the least. The fat 25% damage, huge chunky force speed, 25% stun resist, and 15% blight. And they have an increased vulnerability to bleeding. Finish that guy off.
Maintain the offensive.
We are on a mission. We have no space, time, or anything for this loot. Now, there are a few pieces of loot that we might actually be able to take with us, but those are boss loot items.
Death by inches.
Now, this is where it comes handy, the fact that we have a Jester. After I do a heal on my character. Now the Jester can use Dirk Staff to forcibly move the Vestal back into position and keep her from disrupting the team. If he doesn't get stunned,
devastating blow.
There we go.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
And they can have very, very positive effects on themselves as well. Very nice.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
This mission is absolutely huge. Ah. We need the red key, I think. If only I could remember my entire way through the map. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh well. we'll remember it together, and you guys can watch me power through these enemies with this ridiculously powerful and well-optimized vampire killing team.
This expedition at least promises success.
There will be loot, but we can only afford to take the most precious of items as we go. Alright, let's get the bleed going. I'm gonna have to use a area of effect bleed. That maddening line actually worked out in our favor. This guy's got 7 HP. He's gonna bleed for 7. Ankle's broken. More bleed.
Masterfully executed.
And a nice critical hit to his chest.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
You know, I was just starting to think, oh, well, maybe my Jester ran out of stuff to heal. But look how much damage is being inflicted by that Blight. 3 per round. That's 15 life. That's over half your HP that it's gonna tick for over time. Because of one hit. On top of the critical damage that was already dealt. This is why we can't get rid of our consumables, because of shit like this. So, we could try and bite the bullet, just take the consumables and play it through and sit it out, but I'm not a fan of the thought of being infected with Crimson Curse and not being able to get it off of my people.
momentary abatement. Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
What the hell is that? Oh yeah, I think we can get a champion hero, right? That would be pretty cool. Oh wait, no, this is a level 3 dungeon. Still, it would be cool to see which hero it is. Maybe they have good quirks, traits. It's a flagellant. That's rare. Oh, hunger checks happen much less often in the courtyard due to the fact that, well, if you went through as much food in this area as you did in normal dungeons, you'd be out of food. I probably would have been out of food by now. And I brought 36. With so many tiles, you're basically gonna have a hunger check every other time you walk through any doors around here. And there's also a ridiculous amount of backtracking too, so there's that. Here. I'll come back for that. Oh, here's one of those champion-like enemies. Two tiles he takes up. We need to get rid of this guy.
Impressive.
It's possible for him to get a extraordinary high damage critical hit. These large corpse eaters are not to be trifled with. For every time that you trifle with them, they will trifle with your life.
Well struck.
He got the critical, but she resisted it. Thank God he dodged that. I don't appreciate you slack with my characters like that. Damage, 10. I think,
Obliterated.
I think they've both been obliterated.
Soothed. Sedated. Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
I'm actually going to confidently give up 2 torches to get this sapphire, because collecting gems is something that we can afford. Especially when in large numbers. Wait a minute. If I remember correctly, No. We'll continue and expect the rest. Why not? Let's not waste torches on stress relief too much. God!
Ancient traps lie in wait, unsprung and thirsting for blood.
Double Chevalier. This is a mean group of enemies. Well, that fortifying garlic only protected me once, but I've had times where it would work and wouldn't even be infected until the boss. And even then, still not infected by the boss. So that didn't work in our favor. But we resisted all those stuns.
How quickly the tide turns.
Jesus Christ. This is why I do not like Chevaliers.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
I'm gonna use a bandage. Knocked him down just barely low enough. Thank God the Jester resisted it. Chevaliers, they're brutal. With the fact that they can deal extremely high critical damage and leave a bleed on your character, that leaves them capable of inflicting death. So giving them a swift one first is usually key.
Exposed to a killing blow.
Ah! Chevaliers just shit on everyone, don't they? Indiscriminate nature. That was his final hit, too. He's gonna bleed for 12 damage, and he's gonna bleed out. Back in position you go. Alright, so I'm gonna use Restoration. My Flagellant will bleed for this, but my Vestal won't die. I'm trying to sustain through the bleed.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
I actually want to grab these rubies as well. Even though Blight is nowhere near as prevalent as Bleed, if we run into a situation again, like where we just did, in which someone is heavily stacked on with Blight, we're gonna want those. Oh well. Greed is a hell of a thing, and I've been greedy in this playthrough. And I've gotten burned for it before, but we need to collect at least something. Hey! Those slavering ghouls I was talking about. With a Chevalier behind it.
Precision and power.
Bleed. This ghoul can inflict some damage. Both of these guys can inflict really high bleed. I'm sorry, really high crits that leave you bleeding.
A powerful blow.
I don't know if you guys got to see it for a split second there, but you got to see his buff that was displayed for being at low HP last for a few turns.
The ground quakes.
Nice hit. That's like a bounty hunter hit right there.
A singular strike. monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
Gonna take those holy water supplies and keep moving. Alright guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here, and got a lot of episodes to upload today, so hope you guys are enjoying me play through the game and everything started to stabilize and look up for me. Hopefully we don't lose anyone, and appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for everything. See ya.